Hustler challenge. Oh, I guess I have to extend some kind of challenge. That's weird. I was about to say, why is it not clocking the time? Okay, now it is. Yay! Okay. Happy Friday, y'all. Today is our anniversary. And the neighbor lady gave us these really freaking awesome flowers. I told y'all she's super cottagecore. I'm not trying to be like creeper or anything, but like her whole house is awesome. Yeah, she gave us these. These are all from her yard. I know I'm like going on and on about these flowers, but it just shocked me. Like she just showed up one day and just gave me a bunch of freaking flowers. It was awesome. And this is what I'm saying to y'all about like coexisting as neighbors and stuff. You know, her yard is completely full of flowers, and mine is full of vegetables. And now holes because the company came and dug the holes in the yard after I just got done getting it all fixed a year ago. Hey.
Hello.
Look. Hey. Yeah. Great. I'm happy. I did not think we would make it this far. I didn't think we'd make the first couple months. What are you talking about? So yeah. Alright. Alright, let me set this down. Naturally, since it is anniversary day, I got super... I actually saved this dress for my anniversary, which is super awesome too. The only thing is it's gold and my rings are silver. I guess I'll have to get another set that's gold. It won't come up. Okay, whatever. There we go. Okay. So, OOTD today. Little fancy. Super excited about today. Just gonna pull up some stuff here. I still need to do my hair, so don't come at me. All right. So yeah, again, 216. Still in weight loss program of sorts. Let's just say of sorts because it's not like a hardcore thing yet. Plus, I'm like a freaking procrastinator. So I say that in every video just about. Baby, do you need help with anything?
No,
Okay. All right. So. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, we didn't do. I think it was like Tuesdays and now Thursdays stream. So. Yesterday's was OOTD was Yami Kawaii. Today is YouTube, Patreon, Etsy, and JPay. Don't forget to fill out your About Me sections. Open studio, code, location, zone, and timing. Remember we were talking about the... don't forget to transfer also your Twitch to YouTube. But we were also talking about the push-pull pulse polls and the making sure that you're posting every hour, that you're making your ads, that you're, and when I say this, yes, you can go in there and manually do it, which is really what the algorithm is wanting, but you can have it where it multi-posts for you ahead of time. If you put it in the multi-poster, please scrub it of any watermarks before you do. Keep it very neutral, unless you're adding links. If you add a link, try to make it like as general and one clickable as possible, like 1-2 clicks, maybe 3. Because if you get to the 4th click, this person's already bored. They don't even want to look at your shit anymore. So it's just the way that, we have that instant gratification now. What wavelength, as far as that push polls is independent, but there are certain key timing factors to look at. 1.5 seconds is the decision point. 3 seconds is the action. So your hours are dependent on, society in the world, right? That was man-made. There is no one specific time on Earth other than what we are all in, which is reality, right? So without time, the perfect time would be now, because at whatever point in time when you meet that point, okay? So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but try to keep up. When you're going through that DNA train and you're all in this, right, at the same time, when you're collecting information is when you're supposed to do it, right? In that moment. Also give yourself, a couple of seconds or period of time of being able to either process emotions prior to making a decision, which is usually, could be seconds, it could be days, could be years, a lifetime, I don't know, whatever. So when you're on this and you're pulling that information in, other people may be getting the same information as you or different information. So at the same time when you receive it is when you're supposed to export it, okay? Whether that is, okay, I've received this information in real time. I have collected video, pictures, conversations, information, knowledge, creation I have created in this time. And so you're collecting that, right? At the same time, or within a short amount of time after, so that's that 1.5 second thing, right? You're collecting the information. By the time the 3 seconds hit, that is when you're going to be dispersing, okay? So your action starts to happen. So you start to disperse those that you've received into your export, okay? So now you are exporting. How you export is going to be definitive in areas that you're choosing, right? So that's why I say a multi-poster is good, but when you're doing it manually, you're able to dig a little bit deeper and be able to get across a broader spectrum than you would if you would just throw it into a multi-poster, which is totally fine if you want to just get your foot in the door, or if you just want to make a portion of whatever it is that you're doing a little bit more streamlined, okay? A little bit more automated. So you're delegating, you're giving an action to said program to do this work for you, right? We're already getting into this mindset anyways with robots, AI, all that other shit, right? So in your own mindset, you're going to have to change and adapt to what's coming. If you are able to pivot, even if you're against it, if you're able to pivot and at least meet it halfway, okay? Pivot halfway into the idea, even if you're against it, okay? So that way you can, and like I said, that's your ads, that's your marketing, that's your push into
other areas like other social medias and stuff like that, right? Because you're doing that cross posting as well inside the multi-poster or manually through each one of these programs, okay? Now, as far as timing, like I said, it's in that moment. You can take the information and put it into whatever it is program, right? Said period of time. It could be that day, next day, 3 days. Try not to push it past 3 days because, again, that's that 3-second scroll. You're pushing that time out, but you only have a certain amount of time to do that, right? Because everything now is instant gratification. They want the now. They want the now. So you can pull all your previous content, and that would be part of your now to get you caught up. It'll hold you over until and while you can create new, okay? And that's what your forward thinking is, because all of your previous stuff can be pulled to right now, okay? Every single thing that you have ever done in your entire life, you can pull to right now and make this that pivot point to utilize all of that information that you've already gotten and push it into your, say, for example, next 2 weeks. Okay? You need 24 posts a day for the next 2 weeks for every social media that you have. How are you going to do that? You're just going to start taking pictures of random stuff, which is totally fine also. Think outside the box, guys. Okay? You're going to have to bully the AI. And you know what's messed up is that we're actually already creating hatred for this and it hasn't even been fully implemented yet. As a society and as a human being, it is legitimately embedded in us to not like opposition. And AI is our opposition. We've created our own opposition. And at the same time, even though it was built to help and aid and assist, as just equal and opposite of to destroy and hurt and uncreate. So keep that in mind, that just like us, it is also flawed. So, but utilize it as much as you can. Like I said, for those of you who understand where I'm coming from, being able to use your light for the good of all mankind. Yes. Also, use the dark side. Both hold power. It depends on how you use it, right? Because you're the choice maker. You're the creator. So if you utilize the dark side of yourself and look at that darkness head on and say, okay, this is my weaknesses. This is where I failed at this. This is where I lost all of this. This is where everything went wrong. That is a starting point for you to start building off of. Okay? And start looking at your life like that. No matter what industry, no matter what you're looking at, even if you're not into the whole social media thing, it's a good starting point. No matter what you do or where you are, what country you're in, what language you speak, think about this long term. If your soul was picked up out of your body right now, no matter what belief system that you have, if your soul was picked up out of your body right now, and the scroll of your life and every single thing that you did and every thought process that you made was written out in front of us, in front of the whole world, what would it say? When it comes your time, when you leave this plane of existence, what will you be able to say about your life and what you did and the thoughts that you had and the actions that you took and the ways that you went about things or the things that you did or did not do in your lifetime? You know, now is a good pivot point to be able to start from here, from scratch. You already have the knowledge of everything that you've already experienced. Consider that a lifetime of knowledge up until this point. And now you are turning the page to another lifetime, the one that you get to choose. Yeah, before you kind of made choices and you did things, but you weren't really aware that you had the power to make those choices. And now you do. So what do you do from here, right? You have the whole rest of your life. We don't know how long that is. So what do you do today? The choices that you make along the way are very important, not only to you, but to everyone around you. And I know a lot of us think, oh, well, I'm just one person. All it takes is one person. And none of us are perfect, so don't even pretend that you are, because you're not. None of us are, not even myself. I am far from perfect. So, but some people will come into your life and accept you for your dumbass fucking flaws that you can't help.
I sent my mom some pictures. First, I took a bunch of them around the house with the plants in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took a picture of myself. Let's see.
How are they looking? Do they look rough right now?
Well, I was worried about the sunflowers because it was leaning over here.
Yeah, they're getting sun bleached. I don't have any blockage for them.
And so I sent her those pictures I just made just now. I said, been about 3 months since we started our garden. Yeah, that's what I said to her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say you did 90% of the work or anything.
Of course not.
It's
our garden, right? I put the stakes in it, damn it, I helped.
Hey, that's what they did in the slavery days. They black people couldn't own property then, so they were given the property from the white people that were their owners, I guess, but they allowed their families to harvest the garden. They had to turn almost 90% of the profits over to the owners.
Yeah.
That's
government.
So that's business. What we're doing with you. You do all the work
10%.
And I get all the credit. Yeah.
You have to be grateful for that 10%, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's our anniversary today. What would I do if every man in the world shrunk to ant size? I guess I'd have to stand still.
You'd probably be an Anunnaki. They said they were real huge and they were over.
I'd become an Anunnaki?
Yeah. They were the ones that created the pyramids. They just were like Lego blocks.
They say, and it says in several books, that we lived in the mist. Not in the midst, in the mist. And I believe that back in the day, there was such a high quality of oxygen and water that anything in sunlight to be able to grow exponentially, because we are literally one chemical off from plants. So, and in the same gene code as well. So, it's just really astounding to me. Like every aspect that you look at human life it's so very fractional off from everything else that exists, right? So, and in my own personal belief system that we are all clones is that that DNA train that I keep talking about is that not just on a physical plane, but also on a frequency as well as a genetic level. So, that would be really weird if that did happen. But it would make me very concerned for our atmosphere and sustainability, and I would be very afraid for everyone's lives. Like, instantly. I would be absolutely terrified. Because I'd be wondering, like, why? Why did that happen? Like, I'd be like, oh, snap. I can't walk anywhere. And that's how most of us have to look at, like, plants and animals, too, is because, and we don't even realize this, is that how close to them we actually are. And that's what makes human survival or human instinct so fragile and so concerned with, like I said, as far as AI or robots or any kind of anything above us in fear of, right? Anything that's stronger than us, anything that is more than us in some way, we are afraid of. But for some reason, if it's lesser than us, we're not afraid of it, right? Like you're not, well, there are some people, but for the most part, not everyone is afraid of butterflies. See what I'm saying? So, for those of you that are, I'm sorry, but they're really beautiful. I hope you get to see that at some point. But, for most of us, we don't feel like fear when there's something lesser, or that we subconsciously feel that it's lesser, even though it's not, and we see this in society a lot also, interpersonally. So the idea that AI is above us or robots is above us, that it makes us realize our own fragility and our own, encompassing end, which we will all meet at some point, right? So it would raise a lot of questions. It would raise a lot of questions, and I would be very, very, very afraid for the future of humanity if that did happen. But, it could be for your benefit. It could be, in a positive way. Maybe it's an open door opportunity for us to be able to learn and explore and be able to expand on previous thought processes almost instantly, because now it's creating a new path in your mind because you start to ask the why, right? And that's where you kind of have to go back to understanding, why am I alive? You ask yourself that, because like I said, between the zeros and the ones, you are that portal, you are that halo is already within you. You get to pick and choose and decide how you want to live your life, the experiences that you accept into your own existence or export into the world, right? So, and we choose this every day, even if it's subconscious, even if it's spiritual, even if it's like otherworldly that we don't understand yet, like in the ethers, the thought processes, the emotions, the existential crises that we experience, or even external, traumas and stuff like that. So it's a lot. It raises a lot of questions. What are you going to use that for?
Right here.
Are you going to save that for me for later? I'm messing with y'all. It's like one of those ear cleaner things. With a little bulb.
Oatmeal out there, right? You didn't eat your oatmeal.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I ate it for you.
Awesome. That's great.
Now it's no longer around.
Awesome. Dankeschön. He ate my oatmeal, y'all. Anyway. Yeah, usually if I don't eat it, he will. So, and then usually if he gets something and I don't want all of it, I'll get a bite of whatever is his. I get my 10% off the top. I need to taste test everything. I am your food protection agency. What are those people that they eat the food for Parliament so this way they don't die? Food testers. Yeah, that's a job for me. Yo, if I die all of a sudden from eating this, from smashing some fucking goodies, then so be it. You know what I mean? And you'd be getting the good shit. You know what I mean? You'd be getting food from other countries and stuff. That's cool. Probably, die horribly, but, YOLO. So, yeah. The thought processes that go through my mind are astounding. Jeff and I were talking about that this morning. Every morning I have overload happen, and I have to work through it. So I don't know. It's just from like the time, like, you know, I put my feet on the floor. So pretty much from the time I wake up till like an hour or so after I wake up is when I have like this emotional or like over pouring of information, like downloads or whatever you want to call it, of just an overpouring of information all at once. And then because of that, it creates like an emotional overload. So I go through this like fucking roller coaster first thing in the morning when I wake up. And it takes about like an hour for my body to like regulate the thoughts that I just had, as well as the emotions that came along with it. It's like, you know, like when you flush the toilet and it like swirls around, like all this information just has to go through your body first. It's like my brain flushes from overnight, like all the downloads that I got, now it's uploading into my brain. You know, when you have to restart your computer because you just like updated it? That's what happens overnight. You get downloads overnight and then your brain like processes them first thing in the morning. You're just like, I'm just gonna run with that. Tommy Tamra, thank you for your follow. And that's a really great question to ask. Thank you for that content also. But yeah, same thing with women. Like, what would it be the other way around? I would definitely have a heightened awareness, at the very least. A heightened awareness. If all of a sudden all the men in the world shrunk down to ant size.
I like the bear idea. What about if you was the only, the only woman, and the rest of the world was all guys?
Oh Lord, I would be hiding.
You would be Eve, and everybody wants to.
I would. Yeah, if I was the only woman in the world.
Or you imagine yourself on an island, and all the people there were all guys, and they never seen a woman. You got washed up from a shipwreck.
Lord.
You know, like the Amazon women?
Yeah, like the movie Wonder Woman.
Amazon men, and you're the only woman.
And be like Ariel.
Man, you'll never want to leave that island. You'll never want to leave that island. You'd be treated like a goddess.
Well, that's how I should be treated at all times. Because I am.
You're going to be passed around.
I don't know about that. Not like I haven't been around. Anyway. Anyway. Retired. So, retired, motherfuckers. Anyway, so, yeah. Just saying. I'm not just tired, I'm retired. I don't even want to look at the news. Please don't tell me today's a news day. Thank God. Okay, today is Friday. Special event planning. Yay! Anniversary! Anyway, driver's ed, sit and show, emergency situation. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I am not sitting in that hot-ass fucking car right now to show y'all the interior of this thing. We can wait until later. Thank you. Plus, most of the interiors of vehicles now are so different that you really, like across the board, the baseline for it is just steering wheel and like some kind of control, right? Whether it's electric, gas, foot powered, you know, whatever you got to do. So, you know, could be, you know, nuclear powered at some point. I wouldn't doubt. But, so yeah, for me to sit and show y'all, this is going to be like ancient artifacts for y'all because it's very baseline model. So in a small way, I guess it would be good because then, well, hell, half of y'all are going to have automated cars. You guys don't even need to learn how to drive. You still need to learn how to drive. You just guys walked through my entire brain process that just happened. for the most part, the youth of today will learn on automated vehicles. So going into the future, most of the vehicles are going to have some kind of autopilot of some sort, right? They're going to have some AI integration to the vehicle itself. So learning driver's ed will be, I don't know if it's going to be still manual learning as well as AI learning, because does that make it mandatory for, the next question is, does it make it mandatory for manufacturers to be baseline across the board for your dashboard? Because when I was in the automotive industry, they were already talking about vehicles not having windows, that they would have ads, or they would project the screen from the outside inside. So you'd basically be inside this bullet, right, of a vehicle, and it wouldn't have windows. It would have it would be like a rolling pod of sorts, where the seats can alternate in direction because you're going to be set on autopilot, much like that of iRobot, where all of the vehicles are going at the same speed. They're all going, I mean, look at Elon Musk's, the tunnels that he's created. He just went live with them, and there are already in existence vehicle transport trains in other countries. So, like, you would drive onto this pod of a train, and then the train would take you. It's like a train interstate, but it's got cars, like a subway system or a train system that you drive your car onto, and it takes you wherever you want to go, and it has like exit points. So we already have those things in existence. So you need to start thinking a little bit more in that direction forward. Remember, like I said, this next 6 months or 5 months now are going to be really crucial in us testing and practicing and trying and failing at everything that we possibly can now. Because once the new year comes, we want to be as weathered as possible to start the new year, because the next year is going to be go time, right? For these next 6 months is, yes, it's a push, right? And it's going to be a really big one. But if you do it right now, and you take those steps that you need to take, and you are fully aware of, and even if you fail at it, write down exactly what happened. Like, get scientific with this shit, for real. Like, stay in the lab with a pen and pad, for real. I keep my books on hand at all times until I can't have them no more. So, and then they just get dispersed to the universe, and whoever gets a hold of them, good luck trying to identify what the hell I wrote on there. First of all, my handwriting sucks. Anyway. I have split, cursive split print handwriting, and it looks like chicken scratch. So I probably would have been a great doctor. Yeah.
They said that lobster expression was like a deployment meal, but they said that clip and statement was not recent. That was dubbed and made back in February.
So it's a warning that these things have already happened, that we're in the midst of the ripple. We're in the middle of that 3-second scroll, in a sense. If that information was given how long ago? February?
Yeah, it was.
Was there any deployments then?
I'm trying to tell you, the video on X originally appeared on the TikTok account of an Army influencer, Melly Fitz, and was posted on February 1st, promoting more than 8,700 comments. No location was given.
Yeah, they found him. He don't exist no more. If he does, it's probably a freaking robot. Clone. I don't know, something. Anyway, they pulled him from another dimension and brought him here. Pretended like this was his life. And it just seemed a little off one day, and then all of a sudden he just ran with it.
What people are saying is, nobody knows what I want to do by President Trump, but I can say this: Iran's got a lot of trouble and wants to negotiate.
Okay. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about now. You completely distracted me.
I did it too.
Which was probably for good cause. I was probably going on a tangent and talking about random nonsense. So, that's just how I roll. Sorry, guys. You'll get used to it, or you'll run away screaming. I'm not sure. Most likely the altar, but okay. Guru Kawa or Royal Core today. Celebration for not just myself and us, but celebration for y'all today. Something good happening for y'all today. So look forward to that. Today's socials was because now it's, I don't even know what time it is. What time is it, babe? He can't even hear me. 10:58. Okay. So, we gotta stretch. Hold on. Hey, it's right. Oh, that was a good one. I just need my back to pop on one side. But then I'll be complaining about pain because right now I have constant numbness from that wreck. And I'm kind of, I always complain about that low level pain that's there. And I'm just glad that it's not full on hitting those electrical pulses. There's a disconnect in the muscle there. So it is hitting on it. It's saying it's in pain, but it's not recognizing that it's in pain. So that's a blessing in a sense. But yeah, I keep on saying like, oh, this is annoying. Then I have to keep reminding myself like, oh, it could be a hell of a lot worse. So let's just run with this. And God only knows what it's going to be like when I get older. So anyway, there's your stretch. So today's, like I said, taking the previous content, creating pins as ads, like in Pinterest, because today is partially Pinterest. You can go in there today and find out, or take pictures that you had previously and create them into ads, utilizing specifically clickable links, or also look into the background of what you can and cannot post on Pinterest. Make sure that you're staying within certain guidelines for each one of these socials. Remember that each one of them is different and they keep changing. So every once in a while, do a light touch on what your requirements are for each one of these. And that's why I left that as part of the portion of the beginning part of socials, is that we are keeping up with requirements. What to keep up with for the next 6 months, and then also New Year's review. So Facebook, if you're using or utilizing not just for social reasons, but also as a seller, make sure that you're checking both areas of each one of these social sites. If you have them monetized, make sure that you're keeping up with the requirements for monetization, because those are going to be changing rapidly. And like I said, also per site. So also depending on what third-party programs that you're utilizing, some of them are able to go live directly within socials. There are others that require you to have like a third-party program. Even if it's free, you will only have a certain amount of time for that. Now, if it's a paid program, you'll be able to have a lot more access and a lot more capabilities, but we're all starting at baseline here. So, and don't be... Oh, thank you. Thank you. Today's our anniversary, so yay. We're going to be going to lunch here in a little while. Let's see. So yeah, keep in mind that right now we're in the practice period. We're just getting used to it. We're just getting our foot in the door of trying to understand what's required of us and what we want to happen for whatever it is that we're, even if you're thinking about this in an aspect of, don't just think about what I say in the way that I'm saying it, okay? Utilize it in a way that works best for you. Now, if I'm saying to you, okay, well, you have to make 12 posts a day. Okay, well, you could use that in your term of, okay, well, if you're a businessman, you have to make 12 contracts or 24 contracts today. If you're a creator, you have to make, for example, if you're a painter or whatever, you have to make 24 paintings today. Think of it in that aspect. Don't just think of it as, oh, I'm just going to take a picture and post it. If you're wanting to get into the deeper level of it, these are the things that I'm talking about. In everyday life, all of us are constantly being recorded at all times from all angles. Whether it's from a camera, a satellite, some other kind of, if there's like I guess that would be a camera. I get some kind of frequency-based thing. But even from our phones, we're being tracked. From our motions, we're being tracked from space at all times. It's just already common knowledge. It's not anything to be like, oh, conspiracy theory. No, it's science. It's facts. If you go look it up right now, there's over 60,000 satellites in space. They are currently tracking and have been tracking all of us since the 80s. It's not bullshit. It's common knowledge now. They don't care anymore. They're just like, fuck it, the world's gone to shit. Let's just go ahead and tell them the truth. Like, what are they going to do now, right? They're all fucked anyways. So we all are, right? Unless you're on some kind of DNA train in space, which is what I consider to be our baseline for my theory of life and what is currently happening and what is my oracle projection into the futures. You know what I mean? Of the never ending, possibilities of, am I right? Am I wrong? Who knows? It's just, fuck it. Let's find out. So let's just put it out there, right? Like whatever thoughts or ideas that I have, put them out there, because even if I can't create them myself, or if they don't ever come true, so what? So what? If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hopefully, it's for good cause and, with a positive outcome. But, sometimes not so much. But it has been able to get me through and pivot through a lot of positive and negative situations in my life. And if anyone has known me or known of my past, they see and understand. And whoever's been recording this whole time can tell you, because it's been my entire life. Anybody that's been born or has been alive since the 70s, your entire life since that point has been recorded, whether you realize it or not. And for the most of the current society, now we have ground level view, and we have, frequency, and we have body signatures and like code waves and all this stuff now that's available that, we always thought was the future, and the future's now. It's happening right now. It's available right now. All these things are already in existence, or possibly were long ass time ago, but for some reason the patent died, got lost in the sauce, was ahead of its time. So it was one hell of a ride. But yeah, Starlink alone. I mean, that's a good portion of the satellites right now. So one of them just got hit by a lava from China the other day. But anyway. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that other people like listening to me. Other than Jeff. Sometimes Jeff doesn't even want to listen to me. Like right now, with his headsets on, even though I know he can hear me, because my loud ass is over everything. Because I got that Hackensack holla. When you can holler down the block and they can hear you past all the taxis and the honking and the people walking. And if you've ever been in New York City and tried to get in contact with somebody that's at the other side of the block, you got to do the Hackensack holler. Like, you got to get that deep soul reverberating sound to get that sound all the way across, all the way over there, right? Or you can whisper. Try it. Try to talk to somebody from across, like, say, a classroom or across an office space and whisper to them. Look directly at them and whisper to them and see if they don't turn around and pay attention to you. It's the craziest concept. It's called something like I call it silence echoing down a crowded hallway. It's something with the frequency and the echoing of different levels of sound that can travel further distances than what was previously thought. Like, we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, and we pick up sound subconsciously. So, as well as consciously, like, we're consciously aware of sounds and things around us, and we pick them up, like, in the background through our DNA, through our ancestors. That was a survival skill. So it's embedded in us, right? There's so many generations. There's like 12 generations of DNA in you, in that chain linkage, right? So you can actually, like, genetically go back and experience things that 12 generations of ancestors ago experienced in a moment today. Like, that's why some of us will have, like, an emotion, or will have an awareness to something that we weren't previously aware of before all of a sudden. It's a DNA code activation that ends up happening within us genetically as well as spiritually. So you may or may not realize it while you're walking down the street drinking your iced coffee, and then all of a sudden, like, a survival skill from 12 fucking generations ago all of a sudden pops up, and you're just like hyper fucking aware now. No, it's not your cup of coffee. I promise you. I mean, maybe it was, but you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden now you feel panic mode, and, like, you don't really know why. It may not be a mental illness. It may not be your coffee, you know? It might just be a genetic activation within you that you have no control over anyway. Because it's going to happen. Same thing, people who have been addicts in the past, they'll tell you 10, 15 years, especially even if they get clean, all of a sudden they'll get a craving. Or they'll have an experience that triggers a feeling or emotion that happens when they were doing it, right? And you hear a lot about that in, like, I think it's like acid or like mushrooms or something like that. But like, it's embedded in fat cells. So this way, when you get older, when you start exercising, or maybe as you get, like, in age, certain parts of your body will finally activate certain things, and all of a sudden now you are tripping out, like, out of nowhere, even though you've been clean for however long. Like, you hear stories all the time of people going to the gym when they're like 20 years clean, and the next thing they know, they're having a freaking tripping episode. And it's only short-lived, but they experience it. Or they'll get, like, a flashback, like a memory that's really strong. And it, like, causes an emotional response, right? It stirs up something within you, right? It's just an activation of something within you that you have no control over. A lot of people with PTSD or CPTSD, there's portions of themselves that they can't control it anymore. It's just that part of the brain is dead. Your body has to find a new way to cope and deal with things. And it's the same thing when people go through trauma in life. You may not even realize that it was trauma until I tell you something. And then you look at it at a different point of view, and you're like, oh shit, I went through some shit growing up. Or I didn't deserve that. You know, and that recognition of self will automatically change the perspective, you know? And then you start to say, you know what? I forgive myself. I forgive myself for all the bullshit that ever happened in my whole life. I was not aware. I am now. I am now aware of the way that people treated me. I'm aware of the goodness in my life. I'm aware of the things where I want to avoid and not go back to. Okay? And it's hard to stay away from that you know, candle end when you're trying to go this way, you know? So just be aware that, you know, you have the power to pick and choose things in your life and how you want to go forward from here. And, you know, and it goes in every aspect. So, you know, kind of look at life as from this point forward of, okay, my soul is completely exposed. I don't even have skin anymore. I am just a physical being of light. And this is everything that I've ever done, ever thought, is all laid out on the table. All of it's laid out on the table right now. And every aspect of my life is right in front of me. When I walk away from this table today, What am I taking with me? Because I can't take all of it with me. I can't. It's too heavy. Okay? So what are you choosing to take forward with you? Even if it's an addiction to anything, doesn't matter if it's, well, naturally keep your addiction to oxygen. Also, whatever food possibilities of hydration, keep that in there. Not heavy, but, you can keep that. And also being clean is a good one too. My mandatory 5, and being a good person, being good to yourself, starting here, being good to yourself and being good to other people as much as possible will start you on that right track away from all of that bullshit from your past. Okay. And like I said, only pick and choose people that you make you feel good and that when you're away from them that you miss them. Okay. Those type of people, take them with you. Okay. If you're away from somebody and you feel better after you've left their presence, that is not somebody to take with you. Okay? Although, if it's a therapist, you can keep that one. Take the lessons with you, yes, but all that other shit's got to go. Okay? People, places, things. And even if you have to kind of just set it down for a second, like until you can gather your emotions, your thoughts, and get yourself internally aligned with what you want to do going forward. Because a lot of times we get lost in the sauce. We get lost in all of this information that's all around us at all times. And we really don't know what to do next. We get stuck in this stuck cycle. And even if it could be a moment, it could be years, okay? And you get stuck, even if it's mentally, in this like executive malfunctioning, okay? Deep inside your mind. And you cannot control it. It is something that it takes time. It takes practice. And you just have to be aware of it and keep moving forward, okay? Even if you're rotting away in your bed with your cat, totally cool. I've been there. Even if it takes a period of time, yes, you're going to need people around you that are going to have to help you and protect you during that time. And it's going to be really hard to be vulnerable enough within yourself to accept that you need help and to ask for help when that time comes. And even if you don't ask for help, the universe is going to start sending you people. Okay? The universe is going to start to realize you have put too much on this side of your wheel and now you don't have enough over here, so now I have to force you to rest. I have to force you to pay attention to the things that you were not paying attention to before, that were necessary and part of your purpose and mission in life. Okay, these are the foundational blocks for your future, is right now. So when you're taking this information with you, and I know it's hard to step back and look at that whole fucking thing because you are so vulnerable and having to be aware of yourself and your actions and your thought processes and your behavior or what you said or what you did. Being in that is like your own personal hell, right? But like I said, you have to utilize that darkness within you and all of those problems that you ever went through and all those feelings that you felt. And you have to process it in a way that is beneficial to your life. Use it as the fuel, like the nuclear freaking fuel, to light those engines and shoot that rocket through your own personal space and first off, kill your alter ego and get to your destination. Okay, you have to burn away a lot of the shit from your past. Maybe not specifically physically, don't go around burning shit, but like, unless you have to, like, unless you have a burn pit and like you have old stuff and like old pictures and old things that you just don't want anymore, right? Burn it, get rid of it. If you have bad thoughts, write them all down, burn them shits in a safe space, safety first, okay? Ask if you need to. But if you have to go through that burning phase, right, the rotting phase, I have to burn away everything that I ever experienced right now because it's just too heavy. And you feel like you're drowning, you feel like the world is against you and everybody that you know is against you and you're even against yourself, and you get to that point where it's drowning you. Okay? It's literally cutting off life itself from your own existence. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to get so face to face with your fears and your alter ego and kill it, motherfucker. Like, let him go. Let that person that was go. Okay? Let that thought process that was instilled at birth from your very existence and burned deep into your brain, let it have a light to look in another direction. Allow certain things and ways of being rest for a while and give the opportunity for new to grow. Okay? When the whole world starts to burn, which it seems like it is now, what's going to happen? There's going to be a period of time of darkness. There's going to be a period of regeneration, reset, and then there'll be regrowth, okay? And it'll be new growth. So allow the old to be okay with the new. It's how forests are created, without the old and the new there wouldn't be a forest. There wouldn't be generational growth. Okay, there wouldn't be any wealth in its existence without our observation. It would just exist, right? So the observer is needed, and our perspective is needed to be broader so we can look at things a little bit more multidimensionally, and we can start to grow from that. Because if you cut off every possible root growth to a tree other than one, what happens? Either A, it gets super freaking strong, or B, it dies. And I'll be honest with you, most root systems require other trees to be connected to for its health purposes. Yes, some are isolated, but eventually underground and deep within all of us, we have a connection that maybe we are or are not aware of. We will start to become more aware of this now moving forward because of the fact that there are so many things that are happening to all of us at the same time. So now we're starting to recognize the similarities. We're starting to recognize that some people are actually telling the truth and other people are lying. It's a difference of perspective. But remember, in all of this information, that there is a baseline and there are two extra exponents to the truth and the lie. There's the answer and there's the unknown. There's the 0 and the 1 at all times. It's the equal opposite of everything. So keep that in mind when you're moving forward. No matter what industry that you're in, or whatever aspect that you're looking at. I'm trying to say this, and I know I'm a little repetitive, but I'm trying to give you guys the different perspectives so this way you can start to look and listen and hear and be aware and understand where I'm coming from. Okay. So, make a wish. Make a wish list. Start sharing it. Learn about platforms, add items, go live, do an auction. Review your sales or review your life, add items to your life or remove items. Start to pay very close attention to where your money is going, or if you're not going to use money going forward, how are you going to trade? Because that was a way before that we could still utilize today. But be aware that there are new ways that are going to be coming forward that are going to be different than what you're used to. Like, for example, a social credit system. Your actions and behaviors will be based on a system, much like your already existing credit score. You wanted more things involved in that score. Well, guess what? Now you are. And everything that you do. And possibly in the future, everything that you think. So, look forward to that. You guys, any of you that are 18 area, because this is 18 plus, you will be experiencing this, or your children or your grandchildren will be experiencing this. So that it is within the time of my speaking. Um, Make sure that if you have any kind of affiliation that you are sharing that. Now, if you have affiliation that you don't want to share, say if it is business purposes, make sure that you have your contracts in place, or if you say affiliation for health purposes, make sure that your paperwork is filled out correctly, and that way it's portraying what your intent is rather than what the paper is stating, because those are two different things and can be determined differently. Say, for example, if I have a DNR and somebody else doesn't put that on that paperwork or doesn't put that in the system, or for some reason, like for example, I go to multiple doctors and different things are said at different places. What's your final wishes? I really highly suggest looking into trusts instead of wills. So you can actually have a little bit more power in play if you are going to have final documentation done for your family or for yourself, or for your business. Look into that. If I'm wrong, please correct me. If you have a business, make sure that your linkage is also including your accessories. Because not just the money is not just in the sale, it's in the accessory of the sale. Okay, same thing with your judge system, which is all this shit's going to be changing because of AI. Be aware of phone calls and video calls. Not shit. The blurred reality line is very real right now. Make sure that your emergency contact list is up to date in all aspects. Now, every single doctor, every person that you know, I have to do this for Jeff as well as my kids, which they already have my contact information and stuff like that. But, and also the hospitals too. Just in case of certain scenarios going down, okay? I'm just making you more aware because I'm being made more aware, okay? So I'm expressing not the fear of things, but the possibilities of what could be coming in the future, which more knowledge and gives you more power to make that choice once that bridge comes, okay? Granted, we're not in it right now. The possibilities are very high that things will be hitting the fan. There's also a possibility of utopia. So we don't know. There's a very big variation. All I know is the information that's coming to me, and I'm expressing it to you. However you take it, however it resonates within your life, in the time that you're getting this is going to be different for each of you. Okay? Even if you're watching me right now and I'm live, you will each have, and even Jeff and I will each have, different times and different experiences that this information is going to be valid in. Okay? This doesn't just mean your relationships, your career, your health. It could be, your future path. It could be your past. It could be anything. Okay? It's all things at all times. It doesn't necessarily mean right in this moment. It could be, which this is a very small percentage of, but it could be happening in this moment. Now, a lot of times when I say something, I really hope that my 1% of correctness is wrong, because then I'm right. And sometimes I don't want to be right. Sometimes I want to be wrong in thinking these things, Sometimes I'm kind of glad and valid in stating that, okay, my thoughts are just overthinking. This isn't real. And until somebody else recognizes the same thing that I do, and then it becomes real, and then it's too real. So, and then I have a hard time processing that. So, but I do, and life goes on, right? So sit and show. I suggest for those of you for driver's ed purposes, no matter what age you are, specifically 18 plus for this stream, but even if you have kids, I suggest showing your kids what the concept cars are for the future, so that way they can kind of get an idea of what's coming down the line. For the most part, most of your manufacturers are already in bed with insurance agencies. If you went through, this is actually what I did the other day. I went through and wrote down every single aspect of life and how many pieces of that included insurance and tax. And it was exponential. Insurance is pretty much in bed with every single aspect of your life. It is also corporates are umbrelling over all independence. Okay. Speaking of which, side note, and this was just a thought, so I don't know if this is true or not. I did get some awareness here recently of, and I don't know if this means anything to anybody, but Statue of Liberty has been in a lot of awareness to me lately, as well as the word specifically independence. Because I just said that, just kind of triggered me to remember this. I don't know if there's a correlation with that and like fireworks or like explosions or something like that, but I got a lot of that today, specifically this morning. I've been kind of aware of it in social media and like the news for some reason, or movies, but like I started picking up on that, and so I don't know why I was brought to the awareness of those specific things. Now I don't know if there's some special event that's going on for maybe 4th of July at the Statue of Liberty, or something about independence. Because doesn't the Statue of Liberty mean like independence? So I don't know. It was something having to do with that. Just side note. Weird vibe thought process today. So I don't know if it means anything, but run with it. So yeah, pack an actual emergency bag. I was actually contacted by an insurance agency recently, like within the past 3 days. And it was for one of my kids' medication. They wanted me to go ahead and get this month and next month's medication to have on hand in case of power outages in the area. Well, she didn't say specifically in the area, but she said because of power outages. So if an insurance company is calling and telling me to get extra medication in case of emergency reasons that haven't happened yet, I'm like a little bit hyper aware of that now, right? And it kind of ties into other aspects. So, and I mean, you could go down this entire rabbit hole of like conspiracy theory, but I'm sorry, when a higher entity, let's just say, right, contacts me directly and states something that hasn't happened yet, I'm a little more aware of this. And that goes back into the whole lobster dinner thing that he was talking about, was like, okay, well, like they start to treat you really, really good right before bad shit happens, right? Kind of thing, at least military wise. So, if you guys have had a lot of lobster dinners lately, please let me know. But I was gonna say, yeah. So affiliations, accessories. Make sure that you know the people that you're around, that you're not an accessory to something. Make sure that your vehicle's maintenance, if you have a vehicle, make sure that your vehicle's maintenance is up to date in case of said emergency. Doesn't matter what kind it is, whether it's small emergency or, you know, the end of the world. 'Cause, you know, we're all going to be driving. Let's see. Pack a yard bag. Compared to a shift bag, it's a light shift bag. Let's just call it that, like a backup shift bag. So you would have your main shift bag, which is shit hitting the fan, which is your main primary bag in case of emergencies where, if God forbid, your house burned down, if there was a flood, if there was World War III happens, you know, aliens land and start taking people. Who knows, you know? Like, in case, you know, the news lately has just been whatever. And, you know, think Sarah Connor mindish of, you know, robots coming and taking over the world. So, you want to make sure your bag has you want to make sure safety first. You want to make sure that you have things in there that you can utilize later, like important documents. You want to have a supply for shelter or food, hydration. Toilet paper is a priority for me. But at the very least, baby wipes or some kind of, specifically something that has like cleaning product in it. And like I said, extra water on hand in case of, having to flush the toilet, like if you do still have one. If you're on the road, though, you want to make sure that you have hydration, or if for some reason your vehicle overheats, especially for those of you who are in areas that are getting that heat wave here lately, go ahead and have your vehicle maintenanced, because I guarantee you that heat wave didn't really help for a lot of you. So it especially for those of you who are going into summer now, who will be traveling a lot, especially I think 4th of July is one of the number one drinking and driving holidays of the year. So be aware of that. But you also don't want to be, kind of bum out your entire trip if your car broke down halfway. So just keep an eye on that. Make sure that you have an emergency bag in case if you get stuck in traffic, you want to have a little snap. Can't always stop off on an exit. Sometimes that traffic is parked. And having the extra water to make sure that your vehicle doesn't overheat while you're in that, because I don't know about you, I don't want to sit in a hot car and stuck in traffic with this heat wave. And for those of you who have kids in your vehicle, you want to make sure that vehicle stays cool as possible. So yeah, make sure that your shift bag is always available and ready. But also an easy access. My mistake right now is I have mine away from me, and I should not do that. You should have it at least near an exit somewhere in your house, or easily accessible, like grab and go. Okay. Say for example, if your house catches on fire, I want you to get out first. But if you can grab it while you're going out, good. But if not, if you have to go look for that shit, don't. Just get out. So, especially with other kind of emergency situations. But the ER bag for the vehicle itself is going to be separate than your shift bag. Your shift bag is your main priority for your shit hitting the fan, but your emergency bag in your vehicle is in case if something happens with you while you're in the vehicle, not specifically for emergencies purposes, as far as like severe emergency purposes, but like kind of like a lower level shift bag where, okay, shit just happens. I do have access to help in my vicinity, maybe unless you're in the middle of nowhere, but then you're going to really wish you had one. So yeah, just kind of listen to me on that one. I personally need to replace the clothes in it because mine are out of season. I prefer to kind of keep a baseline outfit that's interchangeable between 3 days, as well as accessory for weather. So when you're trying to, you gotta remember you're going to be carrying all of this. So you want to try to keep it as light as possible, but just go ahead and expect that bitch to be heavy. Okay. Like I said, try to keep it as minimal as possible. Put things in Ziploc bags, air seal them if you can, for space saving purposes, but it's not going to change the weight. The weight's still going to be heavy. So, but the vehicle bag is going to be mainly for like, if something happens within the vehicle. Like I said, safety first. So make sure that you have something that can be used, but not implicated as a weapon. I don't know how to say that nicely. There are certain types of weaponry that is socially acceptable for protection purposes. Like, for example, I believe pepper spray is legal, I want to say. Hold on. Is pepper spray legal? It is legal for self-defense in all 50 U.S. states. However, there are restrictions and regulations regarding its use and possession that vary by state and even by locality. These restrictions often involve size limitations, age requirements, and restrictions on where it can be carried. Okay, so there you go. There's the rules. So, pepper spray. fair warning, if you do spray someone with pepper spray and they demonstrate that they were harmed as a direct result of being sprayed and that the harm could have been avoided, they can actually sue you. They can sue you for using pepper spray on. Now, depending on the situation, I feel like, for the most part, I was just reading that can someone who threw water at somebody can be considered a crime, and it actually is. It qualifies as assault. Throwing water on someone, whether it being like actual water, balloon, water gun, whatever purpose of spray, hose, it doesn't matter. It can be considered an assault. That's crazy. Oh, did you know that it is illegal to leak someone? It's a class 4 felony. Maximum is 3 years in prison, up to $25,000 in fines. Interesting. Anyway, I don't know why I'm still looking at this. So, so yeah, replace the clothes in there. Keeping an extra pair of clothes, like for example, if you have a gym bag or the emergency bag, either way would be good. Because shit happens. So, so yeah, having a backup in case of emergency purposes is always good. Let's see. So thrifting today, I don't know, we might. Supper is going to be, we're going out. And then clean up. We said that we were going to do a lot of cleaning in the house today. So tonight's slugging. So if you guys are into that, not for long, but like for a period of time. I wrote down entire body, but whatever. So yeah. Make sure that you're keeping up with online handbooks for wherever you're at. Depending on what country or city or wherever you live is going to have different rules and laws, if they even have any. So, but just being aware that no matter where you're at, that other areas have things differently will give you an opportunity to start learning about, okay, well, what is different where they are? Or, okay, if I go here, how different is it from where I'm at? And what are the rules, laws, and regulations? Remember, even in the social media aspect of it, we were going back and looking at what the requirements were to be to the next level of like monetization or, whatever requirements that you're trying to hit or goals or whatever. But as far as like requirements for other countries, other apps, other businesses, other, getting a different perspective keeps on tying back into this. So keep that in mind going forward, that everything, like I said, everything that I'm saying doesn't necessarily have to be for what I'm speaking, okay? However you receive what I'm saying. Now, I could say something and you could hear something completely different. And that's okay. It's meant to come to you however it comes to you. The way that I'm describing things, some people will see what I'm saying and other people will hear the words that I didn't say, okay? Some will be a mixture of both. And some will never understand what I'm saying at all. So the people that think that they're right, or that I'm right, the people that think that I'm wrong, people that they're not right sure, they're kind of on the fence. And then there's those that will never understand. That's why I said that there's a rule and a law of 4 at a baseline. Because past 3, the brain gets fuzzy. The thought processes change. can't really quite tell past the fourth, right? We are 3D, 4D, 5D, and the world is about to become 6G. So frequency, okay? That's all that we are. And so be aware of that also, that each one of us has our own frequency. We all give off our own waves and stuff, and that's why sometimes when you're around somebody, it kind of feels off. That's why your frequency can tell the difference between the two. And then you start to get curious and wonder why. Where is the gap? Where is the missing piece? Where is that unknown? Where is the answer? Where is the, am I for it? Am I against it? Or am I still kind of unsure? Because right now I'm kind of leaning into the unsure. I don't know if it's a yes or no. I'm still kind of coming out of the unknown into the understanding, right? And this goes for everything. Everything. So kind of hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from, and that those of you that can see without eyes the words that I'm not saying, so Jeff fell asleep. He doesn't have his medicine right now, so, and he has narcolepsy. So he fell asleep. Poor guy. He's been through so much shit, especially like health wise. So yeah. Y'all pray for me, my children, and Jeff. Pray for children of the world. Pray for yourself if you have to. We all need prayers right now, no matter what you believe in. And if you don't believe in anything, send me some good freaking vibes. And I must ask you a question. Oh, you're back.
Yep, it's 15 to 12.
Last thing. I promise I'll leave you alone. Do these glasses make me look fat? I thought they were cool as shit. I'm a loser like this. Sun stashes is what they're called. And they have a little mustache thing on the side. So this will be my giveaway this period of time. So if y'all want the mustache glasses, no donation necessary. How would I track that to be able to do that? I was going to say for everybody that follows me on social media, but that would still be kind of like a transition that has to happen. So where would I enter a name into a list? I know. I can just use my followers list. But then it would be for each social media. Hold on. How would I do this? How do people do this? It's different now than it was when I first started. They don't even let you say giveaway. Oh, whoops. Shit. You gotta be careful what you say now. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. But that's going to be entered into said free stuff. So, but like it's for one person because I only have one. How would I say that? Anyway, y'all help me out here. Put in the comments of what I need to do as far as each one of the platforms of like the GV aways. I don't know, the GOAs. I'm just gonna make up some shit. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and until I see you again. This thing does this every time.